You call this coffee, Margaret? The young officer barked, slamming his mug against the table like it insulted him. The room fell silent. A few sailors snickered under their breath, but no one dared intervene. Margaret didn't flinch. She just nodded, her weathered hands gripping the coffee pot tighter, her stained apron brushing against her knees. She'd heard worse. 31 years in this Navy base mess hall teaches you to swallow pride like burnt toast. Admiral Charles Hargrove sat at the center of the long table, radiating silence and steel. His white uniform blazed under the fluorescent lights, rows of medals heavy on his chest. He hadn't said a word since he entered. Didn't need to. Power doesn't shout, it whispers. Margaret approached slowly, refilling cups with the kind of care only invisible people know how to give. When she reached him, her hand trembled, just slightly, as she poured. She expected him to ignore her like the rest. Instead, he looked up. "You've worked here long?" She kept her eyes on the coffee. 31 years, sir." He nodded once, cold, analytical, still steady hands, impressive. There was something off in his tone, not quite mocking, not quite kind, just observant. She turned to move on, heart thudding for reasons she couldn't place. Then it happened. He whispered 2 words, soft, like a ghost returning to life. "Phoenix 9. Her hand froze mid-pour, the air around her collapsed. No one else noticed. But to her, the floor vanished beneath her feet. Phoenix 9 wasn't a name, it was a memory, a graveyard, a secret sealed so deep it never made it into history books. She turned to him slowly. Her voice barely rose above breath. "You were just a lieutenant." He looked at her now fully. "And you saved my life." The pieces shattered into place. The mission, the chaos, the fire in the desert. A squad of 9, gone, classified, buried. Forgotten, except not by him, not by the scared 24-year-old officer she dragged through the sand, holding his artery closed with her own hand while mortars rained overhead. "I didn't think you remembered," she whispered, voice breaking. "I never forgot," he said, standing slowly. The entire room turned their heads. Something was shifting. The air changed. The Admiral raised his voice just enough to command attention. "Gentlemen," he began, pointing toward her, "this woman you've mocked, ignored, treated like she doesn't matter. She's the reason I'm alive." Confusion spread across the young faces in the room. He continued. 30 years ago, deep behind enemy lines, a covert team, codename Phoenix 9, was ambushed and annihilated. No backup, no evac, just blood, smoke, and silence. I was the only one left breathing, barely. And this woman, Margaret Ellis, then known as Major Ellis, carried me 5 miles through sniper zones, wrapped my leg with her own belt, and fought off 3 enemy scouts with a broken flare gun and a bayonet. You could hear hearts stop. He took a breath, now louder, stronger. She gave morphine to a dying sergeant, sewed a private's face with fishing wire, and when the chopper left too early, she stayed behind, for 2 more days. Margaret blinked, stunned. Her world had moved on without that story. She never told anyone. Who would believe her? Admiral Hargrove faced the stunned soldiers. "And now she pours your coffee." One of the younger sailors swallowed hard. "I want a full commendation issued by morning, formal recognition, full honors, and a ceremony she should have received decades ago." Still silence. Then slowly, one by one, the men began to rise. Applause broke like a dam. Reluctant at first, then unstoppable. Margaret stood motionless, her hands shaking for a different reason now. Not from nerves, from release. From the weight falling off her shoulders after 30 years of silence. The Admiral leaned in close one last time, voice soft, just for her. "I've carried Phoenix 9 with me every day. You didn't just save my life, you taught me what leadership is." Her eyes filled. "I thought I lost you all." "You didn't," he replied. "You carried us." She nodded, finally allowing a tear to fall. "Then maybe it wasn't for nothing." "No," he whispered. "It was everything." Somewhere behind them, the mess hall erupted again in claps, in cheers, in respect. For a woman they never saw. Until now. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Some of the greatest heroes wear aprons, not medals. And sometimes the most invisible among us hold up the weight of the world without ever asking for recognition. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. You never know, the next one might just change your life.